For analysis of this unprecedented action against a former president, we turn to our political analyst here around Fox 40, Democratic consultant Ed Emerson and Republican strategist Tab Berg with me now live to discuss. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me on what is truly a new day in America. We have a twice indicted former president.
Well, it's not just twice indicted. He was indicted on 34 counts earlier this year for paying off a porn star. He was just convicted of rape and ordered to pay $5 million to E. Jean Carroll. This year, this 2023, we could have two more indictments. He could be indicted by Georgia. Then how's all the complaints and the talking points about the corrupt DOJ? How's that going to sound when Georgia puts him up for voter fraud? Also, he's got one more case currently under investigation by the DOJ on January 6th, the insurrection, treason. This guy is going down. This winter is coming, Donald. The Teflon Don, John Gotti, would be embarrassed.
We're going to have to get Tab in here, Ed, about
go
this.
Ahead, sorry.
You hear him running down the list of what has been done and the possibilities. Tab, what would you like to say about that?
Well, I mean, that's quite a litany. So, I mean, I think we're really focused right now on the indictment for the top secret documents and the handling of that. And I think perhaps Ed and I might be the last two political figures in America who haven't been discovered with top secret documents. So it's a little bit true. It still remains to be seen what the impact of that's going to be, but it doesn't seem to be playing as a huge negative for him politically, at least in the Republican primary.
Exactly. The indictment came down yesterday, but this morning we just mentioned that the lawyers have decided to resign. Tab, what do you think it says to the world that Trump's attorneys in this matter didn't even wait 24 hours to distance themselves from this case and say, we're out of here?
It's never a good sign in a trial situation when your attorney resigns. But a lot of times those resignations come because there's a very different strategy that the defendant wants that the lawyers feel comfortable doing. So clearly Trump wants to do a political defense and use this as a political tool, where the attorneys probably had a different idea of what they think needed to happen.
Ed, what do you think about the attorneys stepping away this morning? It's
rats abandoning a ship. I mean, this ship is going down, and it's going down by the bow. I mean, Donald Trump is done. He's done in American politics. It's just a question of when. Unfortunately, I was involved in the 2016 campaign. Unfortunately, Donald Trump was on a live mic, caught talking about grabbing a woman by her private parts, and he still won the damn election.
So
the guy is John Gotti, is what he is.
Okay. Well, whether or not you believe there was criminal wrongdoing here, or you think this indictment, this investigation is a hoax, countries around the world care about how the United States handles classified information. They may have provided us with some of it. In this situation, this indictment, is it a national security concern? Because this is just not maybe what a former president may have done. This is someone who could be president again. Do you think this is creating a problem for us across the globe, Tab?
I think absolutely. And we have to keep in mind that, remember, President Biden was found to have top secret documents in 3 different caches around in Delaware, at a nonprofit organization that he didn't even have full-time control of. We also found, Mike Pence ended up having. So there is definitely a problem with how we are handling classified documents in this country. And that's going to have to be addressed because, as you mentioned, other countries are going to be deeply concerned about sharing information if they don't think we can keep control of it.
Ed, what are your feelings about the national security implications here with this kind of indictment?
Well, the indictment itself has been unsealed right now. We're speaking in real time here, and folks are sorting through it. I mean, there is a question of some of the most sensitive documents being revealed by Donald Trump to friends, to people who have no security clearance whatsoever. And it involves Iran, one of our most nefarious adversaries in the world. This guy is a loose cannon rolling around the deck and he's going to pay the piper. There's no question about it that if not this, the next indictment, if not that indictment, the next indictment. This is the end of Donald Trump's political career and the bunch of sycophants that he's surrounded himself with.
Still, President Trump has been controlling the narrative since word of this indictment broke. He broke it. The Justice Department not speaking on this even via statement, even explaining the process to the American people. So he's filling the vacuum, painting this however he wants. Tab, has this been a misstep by the Justice Department to not be speaking now in some kind of way?
Well, I think that they do. It is a mistake because they should be out there. If they can't explain how this is different than the 3 different troves, and there may be more that have been discovered of top secret documents that President Biden was mishandling, if they can't explain how this is different, then it just totally plays into his narrative that this is weaponization of the Department of Justice. So they need to get out in front of this and explain what the difference is. Otherwise, they allow Donald Trump to completely control the narrative, which to this point he has.
Ed, is this a misstep by the Justice Department not making a written statement or any other kind of statement?
Again, in real time, at 3 o'clock Eastern time, the special prosecutor is going to hold a press conference. The indictment itself has been released in some form. There are over 40 more counts against the former president. And these are felony counts, and they are federal felony accounts. Joe Biden will wait for the indictment, Tab. I mean, there's nothing there. There's no there. Everybody apparently, but Tab and I have classified documents at home, but it makes a difference. Top secret, and then the ultimate classification is called eyes only. Some of this stuff is eyes only, and he's in serious trouble.